meeting at the same time across the valley, so help me out. I just want to touch base on a couple of things. First off, the easy one, the water meter project. As you know, the water meters are just about done. There's one last meter waiting for delivery of. The other part of that is the control system. We're upgrading the control system time, a few other things in. I talked to Bob Saturday, he said he finally received the last of the components, so he's scheduling probably 3 or 4 weeks from now to make the changeover. So he'll be in probably a day or two to change everything over, get everything set up and operating correctly. He's going to give me a heads up as soon as he has a date picked so we can coordinate with you, make sure that date will work for your schedule as well. Because at that time or the day before, we're going to have to install our meters. We've got the 6-inch meter that will go out here by the old reservoirs, and then 2 2-inch meters that go in up the well. 2-inch meters are easy, they're just going with PVC pipe. The 6-inch meter will be a little bit more of a challenge, a little bit more planning, but it's just something we have to think about and be prepared a little bit ahead of that. With this system, you recall, we're going to be trading in our dedicated phone lines that we've been leasing in exchange for a cell modem. So we'll need to get SIM cards set up with that. So again, we'll be in contact shortly. Just make the arrangements, and Bob Stoward has some contacts there. He can help get that set up. So that's in the works, and hopefully we should very soon have the last of that wrapped up and moved out. Any questions on that? Okay. The other one that I have.
I'll tell you, right now, it looks like we're going to be about $26,000 to the good. We're going to be under what we budgeted.
For the whole project.
Yeah. I actually haven't heard, how have your water readings been looking lately? Have you seen an increase in?
We've seen a little bit of an increase. Bill had some problems with some stuff, and we're working that out.
Okay.
But the end of the quarter should be significant. And then I'll get with these guys later on the DEP on it.
Okay. Anxious to see what the turnaround is when we start seeing good solid numbers.
Me too.
The other thing on the sidewalk project, as you know, we did mark out the sidewalks. The way we handled that, we talked about the ordinance you were passing to address sidewalk maintenance. So my crew marked out the sidewalks and the damaged section of sidewalks strictly based on that. So when you see the paint marks we have out there, those are the areas we identified that do not meet those minimum standards. So I wanted to make sure you're aware of that, have the opportunity to consider that. Also consider whether you want to up those standards a little bit or whether that means. He said that's where we are on that. We've taken an inventory of what we got. It was significantly down from our original assessment. And as I said, when you look at it, we marked it out just for those minimum standards. I'm not saying that everything else is in great shape, but those are the areas that absolutely do not meet. So again, I'd just like to get a little bit of consensus on that as to if that's where you want to take things, or if you want to try and increase or raise the standards a little bit more. Potentially what we can do is get to the point where we've got a little bit better handle on cost estimates, see where we are cost-wise with this first of the grant. At that point, we can expand out if able. The next thing that I'll be doing as well is setting up a meeting with PennDOT, just meet with them on site, take a look at it, discuss it. And I've got a few questions for them as to how they're going to interpret a couple things in their typical regulations. I wanted to find out if you have any preferred general time slots when I can set up a meeting with PennDOT. Probably about 2-3 weeks out between their schedule and mine. But if we're looking mornings, afternoons, any typical days to avoid, but I think just need to be a smaller meeting, but so we can get together with PennDOT in the permanent aspect and make sure we're all on the same page together.
Any questions on the sidewalks for him?
Yeah. I found 2 places where they have macadam over the concrete, but the concrete is starting to show quite a bit.
Okay.
What are we going to do with them?
And again, we can mark that out as needing to be replaced. So what we marked out is the area where it's the minimum standards, and if there's a 3/4 inch offset, but you give me the address, so we'll take a look at those two. It sounds like those are probably good places to good areas to replace. They might not quite fit into the definitions that we use, but it's sounding like that may be something we need to expand out to and address. I guess you can get me the addresses on those, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Maybe, Sam, can you email those to him? If you get those addresses, Sam? Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
That's right, it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too. Next guest.
So I was wondering what you guys had decided. You said from last meeting that what I had requested, you were gonna have a meeting because you had never dealt with anything like that before. And I was wondering if you had had that meeting and what your results were.
We have not had a meeting. Yeah, the only minute meeting we had was on the ordinance. Which was advertised. Yeah. Did you ever find that book that was asked about our, what's it called, our roles? What do you call that, Michelle, that book?
I'm sorry, I don't even know what we're talking about right now. I'm so sorry.
You asked if we had a book of our roles or
Handbook.
a handbook or something. Did you ever find anything?
We don't have one.
We don't? Okay. Okay. So, we'll just have to, meet. There's just so much going on, have a meeting and, some other things we need to discuss. And so we'll have a meeting and determine what we're doing.
Because it's been a month.
Yeah.
And I've held off on contacting the ethics committee and the attorney general and my lawyer. Because you guys said that you were gonna have a meeting to discuss and that everything and then report back to me with this meeting, which you guys had decided.
Right. We have not had that meeting yet.
So,
Excuse me, were you asking about a copy of the Ethics Act?
No. You asked us if we had, you see it?
A handbook for codes of conduct
Oh, yeah, codes of
for
conduct.
council members.
You asked if we had.
Oh, like a personnel policy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I wasn't sure what you were talking
And
about.
that's what she's saying, we do not have any.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
So we will set something up, have a meeting, discuss it, and get back to you. Okay?
why don't we have a handbook?
I have no idea why we don't have a handbook. People 50 years ago should have had a handbook.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll get something scheduled for that. Next.
All right, good evening. Here on behalf of the charter school, asking the borough's support, not financially, but your support as a council, for me to have a Winterfest again this year within the borough, along with 3 of your council women. My committee has started planning for this year. It's going to be held November 26th, the Sunday following Thanksgiving, as it was last year. We have permission from Earl to host it on his property and First National Bank's premises. Of course, nothing will be in the streets, blocking traffic. Planning a lot of the same things that were held last year, hoping some more things that we're going to add. I did request better weather than we had last year. So whoever asked for that last year is not invited. So I'm just basically here as professional courtesy, asking for the borough's support and allowing us to continue to doing that this year. And so that's.
I make a motion, we do it. That was a good time last year. I make the motion very much for that.
So second?
I second.
Diane, all those in favor say aye. Aye, same sign. Okay.
Thank you very
You
much.
have it.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. You just for the contract, right? Okay. Okay. Nothing else there for right now. So let's get into the minutes from the August 3rd meeting that were emailed to you. Did anyone see anything needed corrected on it or have any questions on the minutes?
I do. I have additions maybe or questions. Yes, I want to start out by saying your style is a little different this one. So it's they're not quite as elaborate or detailed as what I'm used to reading.
Yes.
So that was a change. Is there a reason?
I was asked to dial them back.
Okay. With that said, I guess that I don't know, is it your discretion to choose what is important or what should be mentioned or listed?
So I've done my best to go through and pick out what was deemed important. I did submit the minutes to Mayor Dave and President Myron Seiler here for them to review them and to add any additions as they saw fit.
Okay. I guess what I would like to discuss, because I know that I personally asked this and I don't see it mentioned anywhere, because July was such a hot topic and heated over the department contracts and dollars and what was going on. I know that I personally asked because it was mentioned in July that there would be within 2 days money deposited into our account. And I asked about that non-deposit monetary, if the money was not deposited because of the contract being void, because that's what we were told in July. And my reply was yes, that there was no money deposited as promised, and it was because there was no contract that it was void. I then also asked and inquired if there were any fees associated thus far with, because there would be no contract fees paid, if there were any fees associated with meeting with that agency and drafting those proposals. And I was told also that no, there was no charge. And I did think that was very gracious of this company to not charge a thing. So I just feel that's important to mention, and I don't see that anywhere. So I
Okay, any other discussion?
We tried to get advice from Larry Koploff, and we looked at minutes from the commissioners meeting and trying to get guidelines of, it seemed that we were reporting too much detail, and I understand Diane's request for detail, but it's a matter, if there's discussion sometimes that doesn't lead to a motion, and so forth, that it's hard to know exactly what we trying to get advice from Larry and look at some sample minutes, and maybe you have a point of something in particular that maybe should be added. In that case, I guess when we approve the minutes, you could ask for an addition.
that's kind of what I said.
Yeah.
But other than that, does the council understand what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah, I understand it doesn't have to be verbatim, but I think that there's important topics such as finances that should not be missed. And then another question I had was, it's noted of guests and guests by name and what their concerns were. But at the very end of the park committee report, I think it should be noted that Mr. Nicholas was a guest speaker and that he did attend. Because it doesn't, I mean, it's just saying, referencing his acknowledgement or what he said, but I think it should say he was present or he was also a guest. because he was. He came in at the tail end of the meeting. So those are my two requests for additions.
Anything else?
We had one motion now or something, there was a motion to accept the minutes with those additions.
Well, the one on Gene is on the last page. Gene Nicholas speaks of his donation of the property.
Yes, it does say that.
But the others, yeah. Yeah, we probably need a motion to have the minutes changed or add the information that they want to put back in.
Can the motion say that they've been approved with the below additions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can do it that way. So, Diane, you want to make that motion that you approve the minutes with the changes that you brought forward?
Okay.
Do I have a second? Chris, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, let's get right into the other minutes, get them out of the way. We have another set of minutes from the special meeting on August the 17th where we worked on ordinances. Does anyone see anything that stands out to them that needs fixed in there? Is all this information that we composed from there between this one and the one we did the first meeting, we need to get to Larry for him to review, because like I said, he told us that some of the stuff that we come up with does not need changed.
Right.
But the ones that need changed, have him get them changed, and then we'll have one special meeting to take care of all the ordinances, get them all fixed up, and then we can cauterize, however you say it, at the end, and get everyone's code book up to date. So, does someone want to make a motion to accept these minutes from the August 17th meeting?
I'll make it.
Judy, second. Chris, second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Got it. Okay. Treasurer's report was also emailed. Any additions or corrections to that?
Just how they're working out with BPL.
I have, most of the bills have come with nothing due.
Okay.
I actually just got one, well, two today, one was a none, and then the street lights was our normal 600.
Okay.
So
Just curious.
things have been looking better for PG&L, it looks like they're really turning them around.
Good.
Good. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make it.
Chris, second.
Yeah.
Bobby, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The bill approval, which was emailed. Any questions on that?
I have a question about the UPS package to Florida.
I have no idea. I have no idea what that was. This is the second UPS package that showed up on a Kaufman's bill, and I don't know what they're for. Leroy signs for them. Yes, a
Was
UPS.
one of them those signs? The
No,
last
it
sign?
went out. Somebody sent a UPS package to Florida. Leroy signed the bill.
Oh. No, I'll have to check that. So it's going by UPS?
Yes.
To Florida.
Correct.
I had sent one package back about 3 months ago, those bad water meters, but they didn't go to Florida.
Yep, and this was $18.90 a package to Florida, and I have the Kaufman's bill.
Yeah, I only sent one package.
Maybe Leroy sent his fish back there.
So,
I don't know what, check that out, Alan. See what we can come up with. Other than that, any other questions, corrections? Motion to approve.
Yes.
I got Danny and Chris. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Okay, we don't have Mr. Miller, we don't have Mr. Carstetter.
As far as water rent, the business that we had been asked to shut off, they asked us to turn it back on because they're gonna start doing welding in there. So we collected the fee on it and then started back on.
Okay, so we did charge them the fee, turn it back on. Okay. All right.
But they're gonna start trying to do some welding and that, and I said, okay, I said, but you will not be permitted to get behind like we did before. We're gonna keep a tighter grip on
Okay.
it. But they're all paid up in full anyhow.
What is is it a reactivation or a restart fee? What is the mark, what is that?
We charge a fee to go back out and have to turn the water back on.
Do you know?
Then I come in here and turn it on in the computer.
What is it?
25.
25, okay.
It's 25.
Thank you.
Yeah, it might be down the road, we might want to look at increasing.
Raising.
Yeah, increasing
Because
that.
didn't send an employee or two out to do it,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Ed Miller did tell me that he wouldn't be at the meeting tonight. He's with the food truck doing business. I suppose it's over at Penn's Cave, I imagine. I'm not sure.
What's left of it after the storm today?
And he hasn't had any permits. The only thing he's been working or checking with about is the old insurance building. Can the old insurance building be used as a dwelling? And it turns out that the insurance building is zoned village, and any thing that's permissible in R1 is also permissible in village, a permitted use. And so, of course, the dwelling is permitted in R1, and therefore it is permitted in village, and the insurance building could be used as a dwelling. That's bottom line.
Okay.
That's all it has going on.
All right, no announcements? So,
Just a reminder that the acre
what's the date on that?
next Tuesday, the 14th. Thursday. It's Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Okay.
Is it 14th Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
And what time was that?
6 to 8, I believe.
6 to 8.
Yeah.
That's at the charter school, right?
Is that a public meeting or is that just like Borough only?
I have no idea.
It's a public meeting.
It is.
It's gonna
And
say
if you're
it
not
has-
able to attend, it is offered via Zoom as well, and there is a Zoom link on the flyer.
Okay, thank you.
It's gonna have to be public, because at the Green Township meeting the other night, I thought there was gonna be a war out there over that, but it's gonna be public.
Okay? Old business.
Myron,
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
that's not our meeting, but what if more than 4 council members show up? It's not our meeting. I don't think we have to advertise it as a public meeting, do we?
No,
No,
no, we're just all going to a meeting.
But I've been really trained to think anytime 4 out of 7 get together, we better not meet out there somewhere in the corner and discuss something.
But that's gonna be a learning thing, because Jim Harbaugh and a whole bunch of them are gonna be there.
Okay, just don't want to get in any
No,
trouble.
we should be fine.
Like I said,
Okay,
Yeah, it's not our meeting.
thanks, Mark.
Okay. The constable contract. Who has the contract?
I got one.
Still the original? that-
Yeah, I got the one that Larry redid, that we added the things in.
I have the one he mailed us.
Who mailed it? Larry.
Yes, we signed a copy before he mailed it. This is the one he mailed on his official paper.
Oh, okay, so let's use this official one.
As far as I know it is.
This is on the fancy paper and everything.
This is the one we drew up that he returned back.
Okay, and what was the date on the front page, dated when?
It didn't have a date, it just said blank 2023.
That'll be starting as of, once we sign this, as of like
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
right? So that is
Did you
8.
have a chance to review it? Did you have any questions?
I did. Was there any changes made after the emailed version you'd sent me?
Nope.
Yeah, we took all the money figures out and all of that kind of stuff.
Somewhere in there in the hidden print about donating a left kidney.
Yeah.
Okay, just as long as we're clear on it.
So this agreement is dated, so it's actually is when it's dated, so it'll be dated today, right? September 7th. Okay, the second page, what did we have in there? Constable not to exceed how many hours?
10 hours.
10 hours per,
Per month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
10 hours per month.
okay, I think that's all we need. Yes. So Gilbert, you want to come up and get this taken care of?
Does Dave have to swear him in?
You can swear, I don't know if you want to. You have to swear him in? I don't know. It's a contract and he is an employee of ours, so I don't think you have to swear an employee, do you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
First,
On this.
swear it in.
You want to witness that? Can Sam witness it, or does it have to be on council to witness it?
Okay, we really need,
Well, it's a secretary.
just a secretary,
That is-
that's Sam's.
Sign that one.
Use your pen.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
What do you call that? So this we keep, right, it does not go back to ours. You
I will
take that?
scan it and I'll send it.
Yes, put it in file. Okay. Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone have any questions for him tonight? So, just not.
There's not an ordinance, to see how it's. Of course, the process.
Right. You don't have a copy of our ordinances, do you? The ones that we're.
I do not. I would like to get a copy of everything that you guys have on the books.
And we're in the process of changing them. So do you want old ones, or you just want to wait till we get the new ones?
I'm okay waiting until you get the new ones. If there's going to be something drastically changing, there's no point in wasting Sam's time to print it twice.
Right. It's they're not real big changes. Some of them are that stated in there that the mayor would enforce. We're changing that to the constable would enforce, things like that.
Minor
I think
stuff.
if there's a call or something, he can tell him what the ordinance is before it goes out,
Yeah.
give him a copy of it.
Yeah, I was going to say I can always case by case get a copy to go handle it until you guys have a complete book for me to put in my cruiser.
Right.
So we'll work through it step by step.
Okay. Sounds good.
As long as I can be a pain in Sam's butt.
Yeah, and you have my cell phone number, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next thing is the sidewalk letter. Everyone has the copy that, I guess the black printing is what Alan did, right? And the red printing is how Larry corrected it.
I thought Larry, the red stuff Larry inked out, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
he? But I went to Dave about some of the wording in it.
He did, yes, he did cross out a lot of the red, but there's
Right.
also red that he added.
Right.
And
Right,
that's underlined as well.
Yes. Yes. So, is there a question, I know when this come out, agreed to discuss it here because there was some questions. Now's the time to bring them up.
Who was it that donated the money for it?
Mary Winter.
Oh, that's your aunt?
She lives down in
Okay.
Art Hawksworth's place. The little one.
Has she put any stipulations on any of this, or?
Only thing she said going into this, it goes to anyone and we're not holding any back. Like
Okay.
some of the community want us to put some in the bank and hold for
Right.
someone that needed one in 5 years. No, that's not what this is about.
A big reason I'm wondering is because I got asked, let me get back here. Are we showing favoritism by spending money only on Main Street? What about the other streets? I got asked about that.
What other street?
Well, we got Anthony Street.
Anthony Street's sidewalks are not, I don't even want to say it. They're not,
I got asked about it.
Does the ordinance speak of Main Street, or how's that?
I thought it did. I thought the only thing in the ordinance is
Right, it does, you're right, but I got asked about, well, what about the other sidewalks? So I said I would bring it up and ask.
If the ordinance doesn't
Stipulate.
I wouldn't think it would be important.
I just had to ask, that's all.
yeah. Because they're the only ones other than Main Street, right there. That's the thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I even got asked about, what about going down Mill Street?
There are no.
Like, there is none.
Right.
Are we correct that the ordinance does refer to Main Street? No.
Is
I think
there
it
a
does.
way that on the opposite side of my street, because I've got like the light poles in the way, if we can get a sidewalk that goes all the way down to the charter school? So that way the kids on that side of the street, like mine go in the back alley, but the kids on that side of the street have a safe way to cross to get down there.
See, I think that all plays into that traffic device that we've been trying to get for years. That would give the kids a safe place by the cemetery, if they go out on this side of the street, a safe place there to cross over and go to the church.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the big reasons, slow the people down and give the kids a safe place to cross the street. The way it is, I know what you're saying. I mean, the sidewalk does come clear down to lumber on this side. There are repairs that need made. But like your side, there's no way going from Shady's out any further.
Yeah, there's no way, because all the power poles. and stuff.
Were we pursuing a grant for that, for the
For-
sidewalks?
We were gonna see how much, what we could get done with the money that we have. Because
Right.
no one has a clue what it's gonna cost.
Well, you'd come up once, close to $500,000 the one time.
Well, that was doing everything though, I think, wasn't it?
Okay. The reason I'm asking is I was thinking if we might be able to find some money to put that blinking light out at the charter school out of some of those.
That's fine. I mean, if we can find money, put it in the same project, absolutely. And then you would take, because the sidewalk ends on this side of the cemetery on Bunker Hill.
Right.
My thought was take the sidewalk out to the first entrance up into that cemetery. That would get you out into right about the edge of Bob Deal's old house and his lot. And that's where the crossing would be, somewhere at the end of the sidewalk.
Here's my thinking. The money we got for the grant, that was stipulated had to be used for the water project. That's almost done. And like I say, I'm looking 26 to 28,000 left over, I think. But that money that's gonna be left over is out of those two $25,000 ARC grants we got. We haven't touched that yet. There's what, 75,000 in there, Sam? There's a chunk of that's gonna follow through with that computer stuff for up at Sulphur Springs.
Right.
But I'm thinking we could take what's left over, the ARC money, and put it towards that blinking light, because that is a safety thing which we can document under the ARC grant. That
As long
can
as
be
we
used
can
for
use
safety.
it for that, I don't have a problem with that.
That's
Same
why
way as-
I'm asking.
Same way as the, Marcellus money, that's for safety, things like
Yes.
that, there's only what, $5,000-6,000 in there.
Right.
We could use that.
Cause I was thinking maybe taking that leftover ARC money, and if we had money left over through the sidewalk, then maybe we could get that safety light out there. It's
Well,
just something I'm
Right.
gearing towards.
But it's something we need to know before we start replacing sidewalks. Because if
Right.
we do, we need to concentrate on that end, fixing those sidewalks from the cemetery down to where Steve Law was, because they are terrible.
Well, you said we're hoping in the next month, 6 weeks to be done with all this, and then we're gonna know financially where, right to the penny where we are.
Okay.
So I'm just kinda just holding it out there, but it's just food for thought.
Yeah, I mean, if we can use the money, anyone else have a problem with that? I don't. It's something that we've been trying to do for how many years? and-
That's that money that's in the Special American Rescue grant. That's the separate grant from what I got from the commissioners. It's totally different.
Okay.
So I'm thinking we could use that, because that's allowed for safety.
I vote to it.
Yeah, yeah. Just keep pursuing
Okay.
it. So back to the, this letter.
I think after Larry corrected it, it's okay.
Just going with the black or the red underline.
Right.
Yeah. Everything he crossed out, delete out of there.
Yeah,
that
because
put
it
us
took
at-
the liability
Yeah,
off
because
of
it put
us.
us at a liable
Yeah.
state. That's what I had talked to Dave about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to get away from replacement with, making an improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't want to tell them, if they want money, don't do it. But then when somebody falls and they go sue the homeowner's gonna lay this letter out on them and say, well, Borough told me not to do
Yeah, right, you don't want to tell them not to do
it.
it.
Exactly.
Leave the option there. They decide if they're not doing
Yes.
it. So, okay, if everyone thinks it's good, who typed this?
Larry.
The whole thing?
Well, Alan Euler gave us the first part, and then I sent it to Larry, and then Larry did that.
Okay. So, do we have to have Larry do it, or can you do it?
I can do it.
Okay. So do I have a motion to have Samantha retype this letter the way that Larry has it set up now, and so we can get it? Are we going to mail it?
I think we should.
We only have to mail it to the people that it's going to affect, correct? No sense mailing it to over here to Cameras when it has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, but it wouldn't hurt for everybody to know what we're doing either, but that's hard to differentiate who you're gonna mail it to.
How about everybody on Main Street?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Or
talking about.
landowners, some landowners don't live on Main Street, they own the land, so it
Yeah.
has to go to the landowner
Yeah,
and the resident. I would leave the resident be aware and the landowner.
yeah. I'll make a motion that Sam type that letter per the corrected version that Larry did, and that we mail out to East and West Main Street addresses, and I even have them in the water files if Sam needs them.
To landowners and residents.
Right. I have both.
Okay. Second,
Second.
Bobby seconded, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign?
Mark, could we back up to constable?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm wondering, since Gilbert is officially on board now, and we're in the transition about ordinances, I'm thinking of the people that have the chickens, that Ed started to deal with that problem. How soon can Gilbert get involved with that?
Now, I think we have to wait till we go to this
meeting?
acres meeting, because they said
Well,
Yeah, we were gonna hold up, we were
Yeah.
gonna hold up on changing our ordinance on that.
right, till
So we
after
went
that,
out there.
because of the laws changing.
Yeah,
The only thing I'm worried about there is that there's people that are, I think, are sitting back watching to see what we're going to do about those chickens, and it's going so long, but
Yeah,
I guess we can't.
yeah, we're gonna have a chicken coop in Loganton.
Okay.
Do something.
Uh,
Well, it's only, what, another week?
yeah.
I think after the 14th.
And then we were gonna come back and look at our ordinance after that, so we knew where we were going, because remember, we got a bunch of people that were talking 4-H.
Yeah, 4-H, yeah. Okay,
But-
so let's hold off on
But I think we can get Gilbert to work on it after the 14th, after we get our information.
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
We can go by the old ordinance, because that's something we haven't even talked about on that.
he's
one.
gonna shovel sidewalks when it snows too, right?
Yeah, you didn't even read that part.
Yeah.
They are just.
Maybe I should write a fine print.
Oh, I know. That's why, it's very important that we get him working on it.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. All right, what's next?
I got some old business.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, talked to Burt Ware. He did go around and map the streets and everything, and he does not have the equipment or the manpower to do the winter. He said, I'd love to, he said, I just cannot pull it off. They're already buried with his contracts he already has. As far as a truck, I was down to Bill Mark's Auto Sales. He has 2 trucks down there, both of them would work great. There's one that I like better than the other one, but it's up to you guys if you even want to go look at them. He has a 2016 Ford, it's a 250 single cab 4x4, 30,000 miles on it, 8-foot box with a Western V plow for $33,900. That's just a regular cab, but it looks like it's never been driven, even though it has 30,000 miles on it. The other one he has that I really like is a 2017 Ford 250 double cab 4x4. It only has 12,000 miles on it. It has an 8-foot box with the Western plow on it also, and it has the low profile LED light bar, and it's decked out, and he only wants $43,000 for it. So those are 2 plows that I went and looked at, but everything I've been looking at on municipal is garbage.
What's on there?
Yeah, you said to go look at it, or look at it and check it, and that's what I come up with.
What for motors right now?
They both have the bigger gas engine.
Are they
Is it a 5.7?
automatics?
Yes, they're automatics. The one with the double cab, that thing is beautiful. But that may be something worth a couple of you going down there to look at.
Does that have a plow?
Yeah,
Yeah, 8-foot.
and that's heavy enough to put a slider in like you were talking about.
Where are we going to get money? Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we wanted to talk about doing what we're gonna do for winter.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to it, I'm just, we ought to have some idea where in the budget we're going to do this. If we should decide to go ahead. That's borrowed money.
Probably.
With everything I've looked around at, those are the only two I found that I wouldn't get laughed at about. The single cab one is nice, but it doesn't have any light bars, anything like that on it. The other one is decked out, ready to put Loganton Borough on the door and go for it.
Well, if you're gonna go down and look at it, why don't you take the contract down and see what you do for a trade-in?
I asked him about it, and he said he wasn't sure if he'd even want to look at it. He said he passes on them all the time. He said, in all honesty, you're probably better to put that on municipal than try and get rid of it.
That 17 is aluminum.
Yeah, probably, I'm not
I
sure.
don't know about the 16, I think that's when they switched from the steel to aluminum,
Is it?
late 16. The 17 should be all aluminum, you don't have to worry so much about
About
rust.
rusting and everything else.
Yeah,
Well, it's sitting, if you go down 15, it's the first vehicle you see in his parking lot up against the woods, and it's a nice looking truck.
It's got the spreader on it.
No, it doesn't have a spreader. We'd
doesn't
have to
have
get
spreader
one.
on.
You'd have to put a box in it with a spreader, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You get one of them slide-in units or something. And the way I thought about it, we could also just get rid of the one we have and the Dodge pickup and let them use that in the summertime too, but no need to just leave it sit. Get rid of 2 vehicles and have one good one. But that's for the group to think about. If they want to go look at it, I'll run people down. I don't care.
That's extra money to go towards it.
I don't know if there's any kind of funding out there
I got no clue.
for phone or like winter maintenance. I don't know.
Now, I know Bill personally, and I may be able to go down and plead with him and say, hey, you know, give him a sob story and see if he'll help us. And I'm sure he probably would. He's a pretty square person. But it's up to the group to decide what we want to pursue.
Well, we have to do something. We
Yeah.
all know that. Ryan knows that.
I can take Brian down to look at it.
I drive by on ridiculous.
Do you know which one I'm
Well, we have
talking
to
about?
Both of them, yeah, that's why I asked what French is.
Employees, but
They said they wouldn't do it.
can we rely on you to help? If we got something like that to drive,
What's that?
you help drive? If need be?
What, the new
A
truck?
truck like this.
Not really,
Yeah.
that's not the safety.
Okay. I mean, that's the first thing. You have to have a body to put in that truck, no matter which body, yeah. Or it's not gonna do as much good. So what do we wanna do? I think the longer we sit here, I mean, winter's coming.
Less chance we're gonna have of getting it, because it's not gonna be there.
That's exactly right.
I think, if anything, maybe we should talk to the bank and see. We may have to bite the bullet on it, and then maybe we can throw some money around here and there to help it and get the loan paid off early or something.
Okay, I recommend that Sam email Larry to get what all things you have to do to buy a $40,000 truck.
Yeah.
He might say you have to have his quotes or something, you know,
Right.
like that. So if you have an issue, do that, please.
And didn't the last time we talked about going to the bank for something, 5, 6 years ago, we had to have approval from someone before we could do it? If I remember right?
There's a debt back thing or something, over a certain amount. I think you have to.
Over 10,000, you gotta have multiple bids.
Yeah.
But I didn't go looking for bids on a brand new one, because we know where that's gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what it comes down to if you're buying something used. we didn't have to do anything for Chris's truck,
Yeah,
but that was cheap.
we didn't go to the bank either, we
Right.
just wrote a check. And I would tell him it's, at a used car lot,
Yeah,
and it's the only one we've looked at, he might say, well, you need to get 3 comparisons.
well, I've not found it. Even when I talked to Bill Miller, he said, you're not gonna find anything for decent.
They had one over there that went to the auction last week, but there was so much rust on that truck, it wasn't worth it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, we'll just wait for Larry's reply and see what we can do, and if someone wants to get down and look at it in the meantime, so we know what we're, you know.
Ryan said he's seen them down, he saw it down
They're nice trucks.
What color is it?
there. Silver.
Silver, the 17's is silver.
Both of them are silver.
Oh, okay.
They're like a really bright silver.
Okay. We'll just see what Larry says, and if we have to, we might have to call a special meeting to get things rolling, because,
Winter's coming.
yes. Okay, anything else, Chris? Old?
No.
Anyone else have any old business?
Did we inquire with PennDOT about the 25 mile per hour speed on Main Street? That was the last meeting I thought we were going to inquire with them about what's the next step.
The speed study would not be released. All they provided me was the letter indicating that it had been approved, but Pennsylvania State Police are not able to get a copy from them for
I
some
knew
reason.
that. I just wondered, what do we have to do next to find out if we can proceed with it? Are they gonna change the signs? Or are we stuck with that and what?
Or do we have to have our own speed study done?
I think on a state route, they have to change it.
Yeah, I mean, how do we get them to do it? I mean, so far we just.
Let's get a hold of them people down at the safety department in Clearfield that I got a hold of to put the Interstate 80 signs up. And they would have the study, and we could say we're gonna vote to do that and talk to her about it. I can give Sam her info.
Yeah, because their office told us it's been approved to lower it to 25,
Yeah,
so now what do we do? Like Bobby said, what
but
do we
she's
do?
the one that, she goes to their sign department like she did when I did the 80 signs. She goes to their sign department, she stipulates what it has to say, what size it is, and then their people had to come out and move it. We couldn't put those up for them, and I offered. She said, no, it's a state route sign, we have to do it.
They probably have to do the speed study too, since it's their road, it's
Yeah.
not ours.
Yeah.
We could do it out here because it's our road.
We could do it on our borough streets,
Right.
we can't do it on a state route.
Right.
Well, even the 25 would be a help. I mean, we know, McDermott was here, and he said here to stop and people until they're like 9 mile per hour roads. So that means the first speed on this 35, they're gonna be 44 mile per hour before you stop.
Right.
So if it's 25, they're gonna be allowed up to 34 before. And that's plenty fast in this street down here.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till you see the marks on the bank's brand new sidewalk, where one of them oversized loads come down and had to drive half his truck up on the sidewalks to get over it.
They
Yeah,
had 2 today.
yeah.
Chris, I saw, somebody had on Facebook,
Danielle,
they weren't allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, but
Where did that come from?
I don't know where she got that, but this
That's
is a
not where I come from.
designated detour route. And that's why they put the 80 signs up, and that whole thing, I don't know where she got told that, but that was all wrong.
Clearfield gives them a permit, and when they leave the office, so to speak, they're on their own unless the state police would happen to catch them where they're off their
Yeah.
permit.
The permitted routes actually state what route they have to take. There was a wide load that come in and He couldn't make the corner, so he backed up and cut through Earl's parking lot and tore a sign down over there. And he parked right out in front of my house, and he said, I don't know how we're supposed to do it. And he showed me his permit, and his permit showed 477 south to 880 east to Interstate 80. That's the way it was permitted. Earl called me and he was a little upset about that guy crossing his lot, and I don't blame him. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that can tell the state you can't send a wide load down there because they're still permitting them to do it.
Right.
I asked them if they couldn't reroute them over 220 and so forth, but I guess there is a problem with the railroad bridge.
They can't make it under the railroad bridge outside of
Jersey Shore
Jersey
is,
Shore.
what, 13 feet 6,
Yep,
something like that, is that what it is, Barry?
yep.
Yeah.
There was one load that come through here not long ago where they actually had a bucket truck with them to lift wires and stuff out of the way.
I'd like to see that one today make the corner. He was practically on the road, his little boy, when he went by my house.
Yeah,
And you know, there's hump down here.
I'm glad we moved our water valves out of there is all I can say.
But if we're going over Earl's lot, we're getting close.
Oh, yeah. They are.
So I looked back through my emails, and PennDOT had said that once the borough has the new 25-mile-per-hour signs to replace the 35-mile-per-hour signs, I can contact their office and they will come down to properly place the new signs.
So we have to buy them.
Yes.
We got the right signs.
Let me call her and see what we can do. Sam and I can pull that off on a Friday or
Because
something.
I would think all them signs on that street are PennDOT signs.
Yeah,
They're not ours.
Yeah,
They
Oh,
said we have to purchase them.
they've got the little PennDOT logo on the back of them.
I'll call her because I have her number. It's in the computer.
Okay. Okay, any other old?
Sam, just on that topic, this letter from December 15th, is that what you're talking about, that we were copied on this study? Because the Mark Trebek was prior copy. Says it right on this letter.
Yeah, they had that.
Yeah.
McDermott had that.
We had
But
this.
he said they need the actual speed study.
Not the
So-
letter.
Not the-
Yeah, he doesn't need the letter because I gave him my copy that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was gonna
And
try and use
PennDOT
that.
won't release the actual
study.
study.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else on old? New? On the agenda is the building rental for election day.
You just need a motion for it.
Yeah, November 7th, I need a motion to.
I'll make a motion, we do it every year.
Yep, Chris made the motion, second.
Second.
Diane, second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Wait, Leroy's telephone number is wrong on
Oh, okay.
I can go through and I'll make sure it's updated. Is he still okay for you to contact? Do we know, do you want me to contact him?
it. He gave me permission to put it on the website.
Okay, perfect.
It's on the website.
You can have that copy. I can circle this number to bring it to your attention as well, okay? Any other new business?
Yeah.
All right.
We had the sinkhole that opened up along Water Street. I sent all you guys pictures and the whole description on that. And we had a rain, that hard day or two of rain. There's also a big hole, I had Dave look at it, that is opening up in the alley between me and Keith. It's probably this big around, and I'll bet it's 10 inches deep it went. And when it did, all of a sudden, I have water coming up through the cracks in my basement floor in the garage when it rains. And the inside corner of my foundation down there has got water running through it now. And even the dirt out underneath my ramp on the side of the house is even sucked in. I think we had a pipe collapse.
A drain pipe, must be.
Yeah. I asked Bobby about a map for the culverts. We haven't had a chance to look at it. But I'm thinking there's gotta be a culvert along there because the water runs down and there is a culvert at Cherries. So I don't know if there's one that runs along the street or where, but
There's no
we
catch
also-
basin down there.
huh?
There's no catch basin below you where we can
No.
see in.
But there is a pipe there that Belva's, and Keith Erdley's water joins into a pipe and it runs down and comes out in the ball field. That's there. It goes under the road clear from Belva's and on up. And it runs under the road in the middle of the alley and goes down or off to that side. I'm wondering if that pipe didn't rust out and collapse like out here. Because this isn't something that has been happening, it happened. So I asked Dave about it, he said bring it up here, but I'd like to have Jeff and them get in there and investigate it and see what we find, because if you remember back, I want to say 4 years ago, we had that water leak right there in the middle of gravel alley on the other side of the street, and Bob dug it up and had to fix a line there, and that's where him and Tim Conaway had to fallen out, and he had to go back and redig it and repave it and all that. I'm hoping that there's something there that's not leaking and it's washing down.
Chris,
Well,
I forget, is that macadam or concrete? there?
It's macadam, but it's right against the concrete sidewalk. But I thought at first it may be PennDOT, but it's not, it's ours.
So it's up at the top.
No, it's right where the sidewalk goes between me and Keith, it's right there.
Oh.
Right on the edge of that sidewalk.
And we have a permit, that's an ongoing permit.
Right.
That
I don't have to worry about getting Conaway involved because if you remember, I've got that year-long permit for emergencies. So I'm wondering, should we get Jeff to go in and cut that bad section and see? We don't know that that's where the leak is, but since I bet it's a good 8-9 inches deep if you laid a level from either side. And it's probably 2.5, 3 feet across.
Yeah.
But it's really weird that all of a sudden it started raining. And I took Dave down in the basement. He could even see where the water was laying right in the cracks. And I was like, where's all this water coming from? And then I got the van out of the way and it's seeping right up through the cracks in the floor.
Yeah, I think we should check it out and see what it is.
investigate.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get with Jeff and make that happen. And if I got you guys, is okay to do that. I'll tell him to keep it cheap, but
Keep it cheap.
that one up there behind Connie's was really weird because the terracotta pipe coming out of her house, and then it had about a 35, 36 inch piece of plastic pipe that was just shoved over the terracotta, and then it had another piece of terracotta stuck into a hole in the culvert, but none of it was sealed up. So it kept leaking and leaking and leaking until it all washed out. Thank God Donnie saw it, because the minute they touched it with the bucket, there was about a 4-foot hole and straight down. If a car would have went in there without a problem.
Okay, the only question I have, when we do something like that, is the landowner paying the bill? It's their issue, it's not ours.
No, that's ours.
Why is it?
It's in our right of way.
But still, it's their floor drain out of their basement.
You know, I don't know where to go with that, because like Jeff and I talked about it and he said, well, somebody had to cut the hole in the pipe to stick that in, and he said, I don't want to mention any names, but.
Yeah, we have no idea how, that was probably 50 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's their pipe, it's going away, it's their cellar drain,
Yeah,
so it don't matter if it's on our right of way or not. I think the homeowners need, when we do this, the homeowners need to pay that bill. I know it's not much, but.
Right. I don't know, I think it was on the bill, it was like $580 or something.
Legally, they aren't allowed to cut a hole and tap in.
Right. Well, I don't know who did it.
Well, it's been, like you said, years ago.
Yeah, the only thing that was weird about it is they had the terracotta elbow and the terracotta pipe coming at the end of the hole. Did you see the pictures? But there was a piece of green PVC in there that somebody had just stuck in on either end. I have no clue on that who'd have done it. I've never seen it dug up out there. So who knows? I mean, we could send them a bill and see if we get a big old nasty comeback on it.
That's just what's everyone else think?
I agree that if it's on the homeowner's property, they should handle it. But this, we have nothing to go on. We don't know who did it, when it was done, nothing. And I'm sure that drain out of Connie and Bill's has been there 50, 60 years.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably have to eat that one.
Yeah, and that could have been something that the borough done back then. I don't know. None of us sitting here know that.
I think we need to eat that one, like Bobby said, and we're just gonna have to watch from now on and go.
Yeah, at least involve the homeowner and say, and then you go to, hey, this is your issue. We have the hole, but you need to fix this.
Yeah.
This one kind of caught us by surprise.
Yeah.
Here,
And it was a safety thing.
I wondered a little bit about that myself.
Yeah, we talked about it there, but it was a safety thing, so when I called Dave about it, he said, let's just do it.
Okay. Any other new business?
Sam, I just want to say something. You maybe should contact your wife and ask him if this, because it must have happened before.
Okay.
Mayor?
Believe it or not, I'm not.
I don't believe it.
You're still going to miss Jeopardy.
Okay, I just have one thing I want to bring up. Right after the last meeting, Chris, the Facebook incident about the thing you put on there. I agree Facebook is free enterprise, but I think anything dealing with this Loganton Borough, if the elected official's gonna put something on there, they need the approval of this council before it goes on there. That's my feeling.
Well, you kind of said to check some things out. I put that on there just to get a feeler. Okay? And that's gonna lead me to bring something up when we get on later. Because it was just to do a feeler, if you want to see what I have here, but I know you're gonna want to handle this when we get to the park. I know you had liked what I did at that time.
But
because you liked it.
I'm just saying about, you said about the previous committee for the park being transparent. You would not believe the phone calls I got about this and say, what the hell is the borough doing? Said the borough's not doing nothing. The borough had nothing in this post on Facebook.
All it said was, how does people feel about having the park? That's it. It didn't discuss anything in the meeting.
It said about if you had to pay for it on taxes and all that kind of stuff.
It said on there about, do you want to do it? And people were asking about taxes, and I took all that off.
Yeah, you did take that off eventually, but it was on there in the beginning, and I'm getting all these phone calls, and I'm saying, don't know.
It was only there 36 hours, and it was just a quick something so I could give to us to discuss something else. That's it.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I feel that it has to be approved by this committee before we put anything on Facebook. What you other people thought?
I agree with that, but I didn't mention Loganton Borough. I just asked on my own page, that was it. If I was wrong, slap me, fine me, whatever.
I'm just saying.
I
It's
don't like
over.
Facebook to start with.
I don't have Facebook,
I don't
so.
have nothing to do
All I
with it.
wanted to do was ask to get a general consensus.
It's nothing but a gossip page.
I'm just saying, if something like, if we need to do this in the future, I think it needs to be discussed here before it goes
Oh,
on.
I agree. And I don't
Okay.
think there will be anything that needs to be asked on Facebook. This was just for my own knowledge. And I'll get to that when we get to the parks.
Okay, that's all I have, so maintenance report. Everyone got that? It was emailed, correct?
Myron, before you move on, I have a question. If you don't want the council members posting on their own Facebook page regarding issues or just asking for opinions, is there a chance that we could, as a borough, have a page that's either maintained by school or as a website, so that people that use Facebook can still see it? Let them know when the meetings are, let them know what you guys are looking at, but post the agendas there. It would be a simple thing, and then you wouldn't have to worry about a council member going and asking for opinions. You could have done it from the page. That may be a way to go around that.
I didn't give out anybody's phone numbers, no information on anybody. All I did was a questionnaire survey. That's it. And it did not involve Loganton Borough. This was for my own knowledge so that I could bring it and share it here. That's it.
The minutes are posted on our website
Sure.
Yes, they
for
are.
everybody.
Okay, well, get the feeling of the group on a web page, on a Facebook page, go from there. Water committee.
We had a meeting here. Sam did it by Zoom. I did it with Candy. And we sat down with DEP and went through another DEP audit. And we're looking good. We're on track where we need to be. I think Sam is in agreement. They were pretty much just baffled that we are where we are. He actually asked, did you guys get a grant yet? And I said, yeah, we're already done, and all the residences are done with new meters, and he was floored by it. Would you agree, Sam?
I would.
So the DEP audit went very well, and we're looking to close it up at the end of the year with hopefully good numbers. And Alan told you the rest about the other meter stuff coming, so that's where we are.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what the numbers are like once that 6-inch meter up there gets
I am
changed.
too. I am very much. If you remember, the first time I reported water, we had 27 houses that had leaks. We're down to 3 right now. So that's helping a lot. That's it.
Okay, anything on the streets that anyone's aware of?
Just that spot I told you about.
Yeah. You're gonna get with Jeff and investigate that.
Yeah.
Sidewalk street light committee. Okay. Fire company committee report.
Don't really have a lot. We have a shrimp dinner coming up, and then we have the gun party on the 30th.
Seafood's what, the 7th? 16th.
16th, yeah.
Outdoor display committee. Anything there?
I just know that community club ordered the banners and, they received them.
Okay.
What's the community club? The Loganton Community Club.
It's an organization that no longer exists, but they have money in the organization.
This is where Marie Carstetter
Yes.
and Jamie Liger.
Yes. I don't know who all's involved with it, but they're the people that purchased the banners. Community Park Committee report.
Well, I asked about the council all being involved in it. And Myron, you can tell them your thoughts. You had approached me and you don't agree with it.
Yes, I got a call from the Clinton County Planning Commission. I guess they were working something at around the communications center, and he talked to Scott Kemmer, and Scott gave him my number, so he called me. They want to sit down with us and get the park going again, get this thing going, and assist us in any way that they can. What's this?
It's something I'm gonna go over.
Oh, and
Just pass them
he
around.
was supposed to be here tonight, but I see he's not here. But the motion that Chris made last month and Bobby seconded to have this whole council as the committee for the park will not work, because we would have to advertise every time we sit down to talk to someone. We'd have to advertise 7 days in advance. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? Because you know what we're going through here, we're going to have a meeting, we have to advertise. So if we meet as a quorum to talk to the planning commission, we have to advertise it 7 days in advance. Okay? That's why I say we need a 3-person committee to get this going again and work on it under the advice of the council.
All right, now, the thing I passed around here, as you can see, there's a graph there, okay? Bobby, did you get one?
Oh, these, I thought this whole thing was a packet.
No, huh? Please pass them out. I did some homework. This is the graph out of the survey I did. And this is all people from here. We had 4 people that were undecided on having the park. 12 said yes, they wanted it. 30 said no, they did not. And I found that kind of wild. But like I say, that was just something just to feel something out. So then, if you read below, Myron, I did what you said. I put park cost through the Lions Club, and just for their part there where the ball diamond and all that is, the playground equipment, cost them approximately $1,557 in maintenance, repairs, supplies, the bills for cleaning, the mowing, toilets, electric. Plus there's insurance on the building and pavilions. The average 197 volunteer hours, and we can put a cost number on the volunteer. I just took a rough number, the 197 hours times 17 hours, which is our labor rate, it came out to the $33.49. The taxes are the workers' taxes that we have to pay for state, Medicare, Social Security, all that. The average maintenance cost on equipment in the park and whatever was $1,557. So just ballparking, because you had said about, well, maybe we could ask Lions what it cost. Came out to $5,173.92 a year, and that's a minimum plus insurance, whatever that is, because like you said, we'll never know what that is till we get billed for it. So I did the homework, I did the graph of what people want, what they don't want, and at least we have somewhat of a ballpark to go to what it would cost a year. But like I say, that's a minimum. Then you have to figure out what's gonna go up, and do we wanna bite that bullet every year? Because it's not the community. Gene said the park is for the community, but the community is not footing the bill for it. And I was actually real surprised that it was more than double people that don't want it to do. So is this something we really want to pursue?
I have a suggestion, or maybe someone came to this question. With November being election month, what is the process, and is it possible on the ballot to have that question of a park in Loganton Borough and a yes or no vote? Not only for this site where the borough members vote, but everything in the valley, Green Township or wherever the poll places
Yeah,
are.
I don't
Is
know
that
if they let you
possible?
vote on a project like that. I know they let you vote
Sure.
on certain legal things,
Is it
but I don't know
possible
about something like
question?
this.
Like, I wonder if people would want to know.
How many people are in the borough?
Like 450 something.
So you only have a small amount of them.
Yeah,
You got about 10% there.
yeah. And like I say, somebody might be upset that I did this, but it gave me a feeler for a guideline anyway.
Well, if it's a community thing, then the people would speak,
Yeah,
if it's possible.
we had all kinds of people commenting on it. But a lot of people that commented also were the ones that voted no, yes. And I have all the names, but I will not give them out. That's privacy. But I did make sure that everybody that checked the box was from here. And I was shocked. I figured it'd be a lot different numbers than that. But then the cost did concern me.
When it's come up in the people I've talked to, just ask when they were asking, they know at meetings, they said, do we have any idea what it's gonna do to our taxes, our homeowner taxes, what's it gonna do to our property taxes? And I said, the borough's not sure, we have to wait and see. But I can tell you in most places that I've grown up in, the minute a park goes in, your property values go up, which means your taxes go up. And
I had a
I
couple.
know there's a couple of people that are concerned about their taxes going up over our park, that they may or may not use.
I had a couple people that commented, Myron, you probably saw them, commented that it would be really nice to have, it'd be a good thing, and then I had a couple people that said that's the wrong location because of traffic coming into the park. And then I got one email that was sent to me privately on the phone, and I'm gonna read it to you because I was kind of shocked that this even come up. It said, I see your post about a new park is getting a lot of responses. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but when the borough was asked to make a donation to the Lions Club Park, their response has been the same. We know the people in the borough use the park, but we don't have any money to give to it. It said if the borough can't give a few dollars to help support the park, how can they ever afford to have their own? You can only raise taxes so much, and believe me, volunteer help is next to impossible to get. When that came up, I took the site down. It was at 36 hours, and I said that was enough. There was over 200 and somewhat people commented on it. But a lot of people commenting on it weren't from around here, they were just nosy people. So I just, like I say, didn't want to make anybody upset, and apparently I did, but I just wanted to get a feel. I don't rightfully know if, even if the numbers were reversed, can we afford that a year? Because we don't know all the costs altogether. This is just a ballpark off of what another park of the comparable size in the valley is getting.
If we can't afford to throw a couple of dollars to a park that everybody uses, that's right, how are we gonna have our own? That means Gene's gonna have to fund everything, so it might as well be Nicholas Park. That's exactly what's gonna end up happening.
And I'm sorry to lower a boom. I like Diane's idea about getting it on a ballot to see. Because then only Loganton Borough residents would be on it. But at the same time, there's the money issue.
There's two things about that though. I'm not sure that they'll put something like that on the.
I don't know either.
We'd have to check.
Yeah, that's not our process.
The other thing is, how do people vote informedly if they don't know what it's going to do to their taxes and stuff like that?
Exactly. There's going to be meetings galore to make it happen.
They do. I mean, people would say, I'd say yes, but I don't want my taxes to go up. Or I'd say, no, I'm afraid my taxes might go up, but maybe they won't. We don't know.
I'm kind of looking at it from a different aspect. I'm looking at it as we can spend this much a year on a park, but it's pretty obvious of what's going on. We need to do a water line, and I'm working on a grant. We may have to add to that. And from what I'm seeing with the culverts and stuff, we're gonna have to do some stuff there. I talked to PennDOT about the culvert going down Mill Street. They said, you guys wanted it, you got it, it's yours to maintain. And that baby's bad. We had
Now we're gonna concrete it in.
that water
See how
line.
fast they come over and fix it.
That water line we had to do there in front of Pete's, that was all kind of culvert related.
Michelle has her hand raised.
Oh, it was. I got tired, but. So, first off, my hat's off to you for going out and getting information. You're an elected official. For you to go out and feel the temperature of your community, bravo. But one of the easiest ways, I'm not so sure you're going to be able to get that on the ballot, but maybe you might want to consider doing exit polling. Just have somebody stand there and ask them as they leave the polls. It's an easy, free, if you can find, so how many polls do you have here? I forget, 2?
One here, right here in this building, that's it.
Yeah.
But then the
Well,
community.
there's Green Township.
So you would need green, okay, so maybe 3 people at best, and just ask them as they're leaving the polls. That would be a quick way to see what is the true tally.
The other thing I was thinking was, and I'm not saying pro or against or for the park, because Lord knows I got in enough trouble already for being on that 3-member committee. But didn't we have like $30,000 excess in the budget this last year because when we started talking about hiring Gilbert?
But that was because I was not paying the Sugar Valley Fire
Well,
Company,
that's good.
and that was
Sam.
brought to our attention.
Good, thank
Yeah,
you.
wasn't a couple of years ago, we started out the year in
Not
January.
all of it, but that's where
I
some
retract-
went.
A couple of years ago, we started out in January with 1,500.
Okay.
But just,
I think before we go too far, we should know what the people in the community want. I think we have to know that. I mean, we're elected to represent them, and how can we make a decision if we don't know how they feel? That's my thought.
And I agree with you, Bobby, but we gotta first know, can we afford it?
Well,
Because the whole valley can use it, but only Loganton Borough is gonna pay for it.
I think we ought to poll the people in the borough.
It'd be nice if we could do like a trust fund. Have a donator dump a bunch of money in a trust fund, let that build every year, and let that trust fund pay the costs for maintenance and whatnot every year.
and I think just to echo what Mr. Nicholas said here last month, that trust fund exists.
Okay.
Remember him saying all this?
I remember him saying it, but I've never even heard of it.
He's just starting it.
Okay,
for the 17747 area
okay.
only. And you will apply for money for help. And I mean, he sat right here and he made that commitment that he would help maintain this park.
Yeah, it's understood.
I'm just bringing this up because that's what he said.
Yep.
And
You said I'd check into it.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do.
right, yeah.
I understand that he said that he's planning on building that and that he would make sure it happens, that he would donate. What happens when something happens to him? It falls back on the borough. Are we gonna be able to financially maintain it if something were to happen to him with the foundation? I'm not wishing any ill on him, but it does happen.
Well, yeah, I know what happens.
Like, it was a very generous offer, but I'm not sure that we can rely on that long term.
Yeah.
Over the years, and I've been around now for 50 years, time and again, people, why doesn't the borough do something? They got so much criticism. And here again, I'm not saying have a park or not, but first they wanted the skateboard park, and they wanted all kinds of things, and we've never been able to do anything. And then I felt kind of happy when we were getting pretty close to finally seeing something happen that people were asking for. But you know, maybe it's not a good idea.
And I agree, ask the citizens if they want a park. Okay, so someone walks up to me and asks me that question, I'm gonna say, what's gonna be in the park? What is this park? If we don't have any clue of what we're gonna put up here, how are we gonna answer these questions?
I agree.
That's what the master plan was supposed to do.
Yes.
Gather the public to see if they wanted
Yes.
it and help to plan what went in it.
That was all in the price for the architect to develop to the public's standards, because they were gonna have public information meetings, things like that, and because, you know,
But when we signed that, we had no guarantee of where any money was coming from, but we were gonna put out $20-some thousand for unknown.
Well, Chris,
And that's when I said we should do some homework ahead of time. Okay, I've done some homework. I can't do it all, obviously, but I've done more homework than we did before.
Chris, we lost. We lost 35,000 from the donor.
Yeah.
The donor was going to give 35,000. Of course, some people didn't believe it. Didn't believe it was really true.
Yeah.
It was true, but nobody. So we lost.
We had nothing in writing. We had nothing to back anything up. And like Larry told you, we're still responsible for that old contract. Do we have anything that says that it was brought?
absolutely, Sam has it right here in black and white.
Okay, why hasn't the rest of the members
We
seen it?
have, there's no ties whatsoever. Everything
Could
is
that have been passed around so we could see it?
passed around.
Or no, I mean, that's one of them things. Why wasn't that sent out to us? So we know.
But I don't know. I mean, no one in this room is willing to take Gene Nicholas's word of mouth that he's gonna stand behind this and see it through. But I've known Gene all my life.
I have too, and I'm not saying he's lying. I'm saying legally, we need things on paper. Larry even told you that.
And you know what Gene said at that last meeting? That will not go in writing.
Okay, then I guess that's our answer.
Just have to decide what we're gonna do.
I just want to interject this as a healthcare worker. We have to document everything we do that it didn't happen. And if something was to legally go wrong and it wasn't documented, that's gonna come back and bite you in the ass.
Well, it would be documented through us. He's just not putting it in writing that he's backing us. We can sit here and put it in our minutes all and it's documented. that he is not going to put it in writing. But, you know, just like mentioned in the minutes from when Gene talked last month.
Yeah, like, because I remember him saying that he wasn't gonna put it in writing if we couldn't accept his word. you
Right.
know.
Exactly.
And I understand that, but it's the legality of it. Because something happens and it falls back on the borough, you know, you guys are gonna be the ones responsible for it.
Well, us.
Which will fall to us.
Let them see. I'm glad he did that. But I'm glad, I wish that you guys would have sent it out to us, that's all. I'm gonna ask if we all stay in the loop on it.
What are we doing on the park?
So I have a question. Is there any reason why you need to have an engineer to come up with a plan for a park? You're all very inventive people, right? Can you just come up with an idea and then see if you can sell it to the people? Without
We probably
showing
could
up
for
on
the
the-
development of, but when it comes to writing the grant, especially the DCNR grant, DCNR told us there's not a person in this room that's gonna write the grant and get the money.
Right, I'm sorry, I didn't explain that properly. I'm just talking about to see if your community really wants the park or not. Or can you just come up with a
general
basic
idea of
plan,
what
or-
we're having here. This is what we wanna have, do you want this? Like,
It's not what we want, it's what the community wants, and this guy was going to have public meetings, 2 or 3 of them, to get all the ideas from the community and build them into the plans for the park.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, why can't you do that? We're right here. Why can't you have public meetings and ask the same questions without paying somebody else money to do so?
We probably can.
Let me ask you this, why don't we just right now simmer it, table it, and do, like Diane said, let's put 3 volunteers in each pole, Logan Township, Green, and here. And just say, not sure how extensive the park is gonna get, but would you even be in favor of a park? Whether it's a walking park, a pavilion park, or whatever, and just feel a tempo of what people would like. I don't have a problem with that at all. At least then we're getting a true, in-your-face thing. I mean, all these people that are on here are from Sugar Valley, and a lot of them are Loganton Borough. So I kind of feel like we did.
I still feel if you're gonna do that, which are no problem with that, but we have to have some idea. Are you in favor of a walking park with playground for the children and a couple pavilions, something like that?
Yeah.
Give them
That's it. Just say,
everything, just, you know.
just say we're thinking about doing it, we're taking a poll. It's not, would you be using it, da-da-da-da-da. It's not, would you be donating any money to it. We're just trying to get a feel for what people, if people would like another park. That's all.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to start. 'Cause like we discussed at the last meeting, let's find out some preliminary stuff, like we had discussed before. Well, like I say, I found out a somewhat comparable cost, and that's where we are. We have to decide, okay, can we swing that? And then we have to decide if we have a poll and find out that the numbers are like this, 30 people don't want it, 12 do, and 4 aren't sure, then I'd say that's a pretty concrete direction for us to go. Then we have our answer. And the public has spoken and made it. And we do have to do this for the public.
Yeah. I mean, in doing this, we're only going to get the voting people,
Yeah,
which is always down.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
small.
Yeah, it's gonna be a small percentage of
That's
the
what I
people
went
in
wrong.
the valley.
Can
That's
you
what
send out a
I,
mailer?
Chris's survey, it represents such a small part, there's 450 people in the borough, and we're basing, we're looking at a 40 people response.
Yeah. And I take into account a lot of the elderly people here that don't do the computer or Facebook. I was just trying to get a general feel. That's it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The numbers, well, they talk loudly also, so we just gotta look at the whole thing.
So could there be an advertisement that there will be representatives at the polling sites to take a vote? And what about an official building like the
Well,
bank?
first, I'm
Or
gonna
the
say
post
we'd have to
office.
contract Maria and ask her if it's legal for us to do that. I don't know, we'd have to ask.
You know, the property,
Yeah,
might have to stand off the property that
yeah.
voted for.
We have volunteers for sure.
Yeah,
I would be a volunteer in one of those sites.
yes.
If you're concerned about the voting numbers being down, would a mailer be different? Like mail everybody a postcard that they can just drop off or mail back? That way you know you're getting it to every residence. It means some residents will have more than one adult, but you're still getting it to every residence in the valley. I don't know if that's an option.
I don't know.
Because I don't know if the Amish vote or not, but I think they should have a say in it. They'll use
Some
it.
of them do, some of them don't.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be an option as well. I don't know what the cost involved with that would be. I have no idea.
Sure, just some idea.
But
If I take that graph out of it, just the cost kind of worry me a little bit, and if we're gonna do that, I'd like to see a sizable trust fund built and let it maintain itself. And there's trust funds out there that do that. And then if somebody wants to donate to that trust fund, they can. It's an open thing where it can always take donations. And then it pays the bill out of that trust fund. But for right now, I think it should just be tabled until we get a little better grip on things, but that's just, not that I don't want it, because I'd love to see it. But I want to make sure we're doing the right thing for John Q. Public.
other question I had, I was thinking about, if we're using the Nicholas property, where are we looking at having people park? Because there's really, like, would it be safe to park along the road that you can park? Where were you looking at putting a parking lot?
Parking,
Yeah,
right off of Water Street, coming in.
isn't there like a spring there?
No. There's a culvert down along there.
Because I thought there was like all those trees where they're constantly like brushing trees, I thought there
That's
was a
just a
spring in
culvert that
there.
comes down from the corner.
Okay.
That all needs cleaned up. So and that's another thing, if we're not gonna do anything and move on this at this point, I would suggest we get someone to cut those trees along Water Street before winter, because some of them are dead. And if they end up on Greg Weaver's house, then we are gonna have an issue.
Well, is that, are those trees our responsibility or Gene's?
I think with the contract they signed that you guys are responsible for
Yeah,
maintenance
It's our
and following you.
responsibility.
I thought
No,
that
but
contract
the contract
was,
was terminated,
was
so it falls on
terminated.
Gene.
But the land is ours. He's still waiting to sign it over from like day one till we see if we're going for DCNR grant. Because it would be part of the matching grant. I mean, if you just want to own it, I'll get a hold of Gene tomorrow and tell him, hey, just sign over right now. Or sell it. I mean, you know,
that almost might be the way to go. I don't know, nobody had numbers. You said about getting some preliminary work, I did it. That's all I can say.
And then said you were using it to like match the grant, but if he wants to sign over, could we start work on saving money to match the grant? And go that route? That way you know
Or
it's
get a
yours right
grant that
there?
you don't have to
Or get a
match.
grant that you don't need one?
You get one, yeah. The last to talk to Brian, he was willing to write a grant through the, what's it called, some park foundation that
CCED,
that gives out money to strictly parks. It was still a matching, but it was less matching than
yeah, the
CNR.
county conservation district does that too.
And just like I mentioned, that the county planning commission wants to get involved. We don't know what they're gonna offer.
That's it, all I did was give the info I could on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a lot to digest. In my position, I'm not comfortable speaking for a whole entire community
Right.
on what we should or should not do. I would rather have a consensus. That's just my opinion. My thoughts.
What would it cost to send a mailer out?
Let's say, he said about getting opinions. He got the opinion. You got pissed because he got an opinion.
No, I didn't get pissed.
Yes, you did.
I got pissed because he did it on Facebook without anyone else in this council knowing anything that's going on, and we get the phone calls.
I don't wanna hear, you did the same shit when you were hiding that.
We weren't
You
hiding
were
nothing.
going behind.
We weren't hiding nothing.
Bullshit, you did it with Maryland.
No.
Dave, you're over there laughing, you're his little puppet. Grow a set.
But you're out of order, you better stop while you're ahead.
I don't know.
Is that a threat?
What do we pay for stamps to send the water bills out? It'd be the same, it's a postcard stamp.
Yeah.
52 cents. It's a postcard stamp.
How many homes, residents?
215.
You wanna do the whole valley, don't you? If you're getting an opinion, you want everyone's opinion, it's gonna affect everyone.
See, here's the toss between. It's for the whole valley.
Yeah, but
Like the ones
There's
putting the bill.
only a certain amount of that valley that's gotta pay the bills.
And that's us
That's
here in
the
Borough.
catch on.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. 'Cause we can't raise taxes for Green Township and Logan Township because your people are gonna use my park. And then we have the big park there that the Lions owns, and they're saying, well, you guys won't even help us support our park, how are you gonna support your own? Those are questions flying around, and that don't make us look good because we don't have any answers.
No, I think the one question was, if you have the money for a park, just give it to the Lions Club. There's
That was-
one post that I saw on there.
That was another one.
Actually,
Yeah.
that one's not a bad idea either. Because think how many people in the borough use that park.
There was so many opinions out there that were thrown out. That's why I gave it 36 hours and shut it off. Get mad at me because I did it. At least I tried to get some preliminary info.
I'm just saying, what are we gonna do? We need to move forward from here.
I don't know.
We
That's
wanna
up to
send
the
it
group.
out?
That's up to the group.
What you said is
I think we
57
have to send
cents.
it out.
52 cents.
52 cents, how many do we need?
About 200 in the borough.
Yeah, about 200 would be for the borough. We have 215 water meters, but some of them are shut off.
So roughly $205.
Plus the printing, preparing
Yes.
of the,
That's just the stamp.
yes.
You have to remember too, that lots of times we do a survey, a small percentage of them do that,
Right.
but that's.
Or at least you gave
That's-
everybody the option of participating.
That's part
You have
of
to
it.
try, I mean, you know. you
Yeah, we
try.
can't force everybody to do it.
Right.
That's why this thing was kinda unique. I made it public, not just my friends, and everybody could answer if they wanted.
Going door to door. You can volunteer and come door to door. That'll save you tons of money.
No envelope. Just try for it.
Yeah.
Address.
You're allowed to do that, are you?
Yes, I do it all the time for the car company, one calendar.
Still have to be regular envelope size, it would be 68 cents.
No, we do folders all the time.
Without an envelope, yeah, it costs us 68.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, it's easier to develop something like that on an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of paper than a postcard. With a postcard, you have to develop something that folds in half till they get it and they open it and return part of it.
Right.
I don't care. We want to send one out, we can send one out.
I'm kind of a little nervous at how quiet it is since we laid this stuff out here, but
The other option would be to have somebody go door to door, or a couple people go door to door and ask for each resident. I'm sure, like, I know, Village Hall, I can think of this, Gavin Morris would have a blast with that, I would think, going around asking everybody their opinion. He was really big into that kind of stuff, and so like political and.
Noah would have one just because he likes going door to door and saying hi to people.
Get some of your kids to go around and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, can we get your opinion? Yes or no? That would save you a ton of money, you have to get to do it.
Maybe Sugar Valley Civics class, one of the civics classes or history classes at school.
Could do it as a project. Offer it to the school as an extra credit project. I'm sure there's kids that would jump at it to go door to door to ask people.
I feel that's a good idea, and I agree with Bobby then to leave it to the borough members.
I think it should just be Borough. Those are the people who's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I agree
it
with
gives
that.
people a chance to be heard
Yeah.
officially and not word of mouth.
But if something's sent out, it should be done so they don't have to have their name come back on it.
Yeah, you don't want anyone's name.
No, we don't
Just
need
a-
their name.
Just a survey that they fill out and drop out here in the box or
Yeah, they can drop-
mail it back.
So-
Drop it in the box.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would just make sure to add a sign that you can drop your surveys here.
I think it's a good idea, and they have a comment area if anyone wants to,
yeah. Things that they would like to see
yeah, comment on
in the
it.
park if it, happens. Some of the ideas you have for the park.
Yeah, if we don't have much in the way of playground equipment, they're gonna go to Loganton.
Right.
And, they got it down there.
So is that what we want to do? Develop a one-page flyer and mail it out?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, we can't make motions.
I think we have to.
And I make a motion that we develop some sort of communication with the borough members to respond to the park idea.
Just borough residents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water addresses or not? Could we, would that go to the same as the water addresses?
Yeah, yeah.
That, you're right. Would we miss anybody like that, Chris?
No, we have an address for every property in the borough.
Okay.
We just send it like I know like Kaufman's like a Loganton resident, so that there's no identifier on that.
Yeah, we're not gonna put a name on it, we're just gonna put Loganton resident and the address.
I have it on my computer, it just says resident and the addresses for Winterfest. Every address in the borough.
How are we gonna mail them? We have to get a permit to mail them, they're going to put them in the mail.
No, you can put each individual address
Or you
on it.
can bulk mail them.
It just says Borough resident, they'll do that.
Yeah, 'cause all they use is the address and the zip code.
Can you without bulk mail them, just put address of the resident?
Yeah, we get stuff all the time.
Just go for renters too?
It's gonna go to every resident.
People that are living in the place or people that own it? It should go to
Living
both.
in the place.
Living
Should
in
go
it,
to
but
both.
it says resident.
If it says resident, it's only gonna go to the renter, it's not gonna go to the property owner unless they live in town.
And I will tell you, it's sad to say, it sounds like Ben's gonna close the store. He's talking hard about it, so.
Oh, I was told he told him no.
Huh?
I was told he told the second one.
He told me,
Keep this one.
he told me that this one is not working.
Work.
In the second one.
Huh?
In the second one.
Oh, someone want to second Diane's motion about the flyers to the Loganton Borough residents?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
So we'll be drafting that up, are we going to discuss what we want to say, or put some info on the project, or how are we gonna do it? And do we want to give them a deadline to certify it?
I'll give them a month. There should be plenty, they get their sewer bills in here on time.
To get it developed, it's gonna be the middle of the month.
Why don't you say like November 1st, as you, it gets on like 6 weeks from today, or almost 8 weeks from today, because it's
I
like
can't hear what
November
you're
1st.
saying.
They were talking about a date to have it turned in by, go with like November 1st, or have it by the, set it for the whole date. So that if you come in and vote, you can just drop it off and you're
Do
going in.
that, that's a good
Raise
idea.
your hand. He's got a great idea. I don't know if you can do it.
Can't you just send these out with the next sewer bill instead of doing a special mailing?
No,
The
the
sewer
bill
bills
is at
go
once a
out
year.
once a year, that's
Oh, well, never mind then.
it. And they have to cut a little tab off and send it
Yeah.
back.
Okay, see,
I
well,
just tell my
we
bank
get
to
ours
cut a
every
check
3
once a
months.
No,
So I don't forget.
Is winter
That was a good
fest
idea.
now? But that's not till later.
Yeah.
When does the water next
We
water
are
go out?
volunteered walking around to put them in each door.
yeah, the next month.
And when does that happen?
Later this month, that's when it's 2 weeks of course.
October, because they had to get, the decorations up by Thanksgiving.
What's one mailing cost in stamps? Can we just, how much is it?
That's pretty good, actually.